going on, guilty guys and gals, and welcome back to The Great Ace Attorney. What happened last time? Guns. There was a lot of guns, and Herlock is depressed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There was something I was thinking about. If this is like, there was something about hounds at the beginning of this one, right? Then each case has an animal associated with it. In the first case, you had the swan with Giselle Brett. In the second case, you had the cat and the snake. Was there one in the third case? I always forget about that one. Was there an animal there? Maybe there wasn't. But then the last case had the lion's pride, right? And this one's going to have hounds. So maybe there was something in the third case and I'm just not remembering it. Anyway.
Oh, right, it's me. See, that's why I hate grown-ups. All they do is feed you a pack of lies and take stuff away from you.
Oh, really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm?
What? Oh my, surely you were given that. Yeah, the D let me keep it, after I looked daggers at him for long enough. He went through the pockets and said, go on there and have it, before telling me to scarper. Always pays off giving people a look like you ate them. You ate them? No, hate. I can't help feeling that it's going to get you into serious trouble one day.
Oh no, don't say that, right before the case starts.
What I really wanted was that nice shiny disc, mind. The music box disc.
But Mr. Windybank said it was practically worthless.
I think I'm going to go and have another bash. Give him a long hard stare.
I think not, Miss Lestrade. We shan't enter Windybanks again today.
Why not? It's not fair.
It can't be helped, I'm afraid. The police are investigating the scene now, and taking a statement from Mr. Windybank.
That disc's mine. I had the ticket for this coat, and it was in the coat's pocket. And there should be something else and all. That's what the Rotten Cove said, ain't it?
Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he?
Well then, that's mine too, whatever it is.
Now she's really pushing her luck. Miss Lestrade, I think it is time to admit defeat. You've had your hole for the day.
Yeah, and it's all your fault, Sholmes.
You're welcome. So, what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening? Iris would be delighted to cook, I'm sure, and I meant to entertain you with a modest violin recital, now that I got my violin back.
Nah, ta.
Oh.
Why would I come round your place, eh? Have you lost your head or something?
Okay, well, she wanted to, you could see it for a second, but no.
Oh dear, she's gone.
Having reviled on me quite unnecessarily, I might add. I can't help wondering if perhaps she might turn up anyway. Interesting. Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come. Very well, then. I'll inform Iris to set a place for our potential guests at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company later, too. Sorry? I believe I will have a rather splendid surprise to show you. It's not a violin recital, is it?
Oh, how exciting! What is it?
Well, that wouldn't make it quite a surprise, would it? You shall have to wait and see, Miss Sato. Until later, then. You just gonna leave us on the street? Like, where are we gonna go? Up to there? Like, we're gonna go back up there. I have to move my mic. Pardon that. I know it's loud. Ugh, this is the problem.
Oh, Susie, and Reno, come in, come in.
Good afternoon, Iris.
Thank thank you so much for breakfast this morning. Oh, don't mention it. Goodness, look at the time already.
Busy as always?
I am. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening.
Already? You're obviously cooking something special then, are you?
Oh, yes. After all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? Go on. You'll never guess.
Is it your gun? Look at those little eyes of hers shining.
Oh, dear. It is awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it? It's Ginny! Isn't that exciting? Oh, what a surprise! Yes, that's wonderful news.
Wow, Iris seems overjoyed at the idea.
I can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional.
Oh yeah, that does sound like fun.
I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate. Are you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, by the way, Iris, what's Mr. Sholmes up to? Okay, he's just...
Hurley? Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes!
I beg you not speak to me.
Sorry?
I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. As you can see, I'm not here.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything.
Yes, I see that.
Really, he behaves just like a child sometimes, Hurley does. Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they?
Yes, except that Iris is clearly the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are.
What's the matter, Runo? You have such a funny look on your face.
Oh, no, it's nothing.
I know what it is. Why does this girl live here with Mr. Sholmes, you're wondering? After all these months, you still haven't bothered to ask me. Am I right?
How? How did you...
Oh, Runo, I can read you like a book.
Ugh, this girl is dangerous. Yeah, don't teach her pickpocketing.
Don't worry, you can ask me anything. I won't mind.
Alright, well, here we go. Okay, Ginny first. So, by Ginny, you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from the McGilded case 2 months ago, right?
Yes, who stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although, after that trial, I invited her back here and we had dinner together. And now we're the best of friends. Oh, what a lovely tale. Yes, now if I bump into her on the street, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh, yeah. And I chase her down the back alleys.
Interesting idea of friendship.
With a gun. Pow! Then I let her have the latest colour of smoke grenade I've developed. Oh.
Sorry, I had to take a drink.
There's so many beautiful colours in the world. Ginny wants me to make a whole rainbow.
I suppose this means you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, then?
Yes, that's right. I got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same way when I shoot it at him now.
Poor Hurley.
Ooh, I can't wait for Ginny to arrive. It's been too long since she last came over. I'm so excited.
I just hope she does actually come. Alright.
I'm sure you've been wondering, why is it that I live here with Hurley, haven't you?
Well, it has crossed my mind. That and where are your real parents?
My mummy and daddy aren't with me anymore.
Uh-oh.
Mummy passed away when I was born. And around the same time, my father... Well, he had to go to a faraway land because of one of the cases he and Hurley were working on.
Oh. Wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley?
Yes. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mysterious cases together.
She didn't mention that before.
He wrote all of them up in his diaries. That's what's in the metal chest over there.
Really? He recorded them all?
So, you mean it's true? Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases? Oh yes. I mean, it's always nice to have one, isn't it?
She slowly looks over at me. So, Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father?
Exactly. Haley told me I wasn't allowed to look in the chest, but that only made me want to look even more, so I opened it up. And you found your father's memoirs? Yes. So I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell out of his chair. But then he told me. That's when I found out that the author of all those accounts was my father.
So, Iris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner?
Yep. I'm sure you've never met him. I've practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So, it came as quite a shock. And Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy, I mean.
It must have done.
I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you, and at such a young age. Hurley says it's because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me. Oh? Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say his ways have rubbed off on me. There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost know when people are lying before they open their mouths sometimes.
Right.
Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That's what inspired me to write The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, actually. I'd always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all those thrilling stories. Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything. As soon as he's solved a case, it all but vanishes from his mind. Oh, I see. The other day it was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot about the case he'd just solved. So the very next day, he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It was quite a shock for everyone.
You can say that again.
Yeah, because he said it.
You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris? That's right, Wilson. Daddy is Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from his diaries that he's a doctor of medicine, you see. That's what prompted me to study and study so that I could earn a doctorate as well.
Iris's father, who went to sub-distant land, and is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson.
The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right. Visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. And the man who, in the most bizarre of circumstances, lost his life just before we left Japan.
What is up with people abandoning their children in this game franchise?
Anyway. Miss Sasato.
Yes?
Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at this time.
I think that would be for the best.
I'm back. Oh, my dear fellows, how good to see you.
Eek! Mr. Sholmes?
Why ever did you not make your presence known to me before? Well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you?
We've been with you most of the day.
Goodness, really?
Do you tell me, Mr. Sholmes, is your violin unscathed?
My violin? Whatever are you talking about, dear madame?
Oh,
Never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows.
Oh, another music box disc.
No, not another disc, Mrs. Otto. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence, Mr. McGilded's disc.
Oh my.
Then what's it doing here?
You know, at times, Mr. Naruhodo, I think that though I have an undeniable turn for detection, I may as well be more adept at larceny.
Ooh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant. And Bruno could be our go-to lawyer if we ever got caught.
Right.
Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting, she could write all our menacing crime notifications. Yes, I'd be delighted.
I'm just gonna pretend this conversation never happened, I think. She nods. Yeah, you should do that.
Now you're talking to me.
I don't understand. How did that disc come to be in your possession? I thought Inspector Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard.
Quite correct. And that sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I always carry some of this.
Did he mark the indents in the... I did notice it was a different color. He marked the indents in the caramel so that he could recreate the disc later.
That's a bar of caramel, Mr. Sholmes.
Your one and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken.
If you will humor me, my dear fellows, cast your minds back to when the good detective confiscated the disc.
I'll be checking whatever it is of McGilded's down the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over.
Oh, yes, of course.
If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. For the briefest of moments, I had the disc in my hand, did I not?
Yes, you did, but I still don't understand.
It was at precisely that moment that I summoned my one and only friend into action. I pressed the disc into a pair of bars, like so.
That's amazing!
Hold on, I gotta pause for a second. Alright, we are officially unpaused. I had to go turn something down because I could hear it in my headphones, so I'm pretty sure you could hear it on the thing too. Why is it so quiet? Oh, I didn't have the headphones turned on. That would be why. Okay.
The disc and all the minuscule protrusions made an image on the caramel.
Indeed. This caramel is quite exceptional. I developed it myself, you know. He did say that. Suitably soft for making impressions, but resistant to melting, the result of a precisely controlled solution.
How extraordinary!
Carrying a pair of these on one's person frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key, for example. A simple press and its unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will, and never without high sucrose nourishment.
Yeah, that sounds illegal.
From the image, I was able to create this. I confess I was most curious to know what manner of music would issue from this disc when played. Alright.
Do tell us then, Mr. Sholmes. What does the music disc play?
Well, unfortunately, I have no idea.
No idea?
None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box, my dear fellows?
No, I'm afraid not.
Goodness, you don't know, Bruno?
Okay, we're gonna get like a do. Oh no, it's playing a music box. Okay, I have to listen to this. Okay, it's the same music box remix from before. Do.
Inside a music box, there's a special metal piece called a comb. That's what produces the sound. Small protuberances,
Okay.
pluck the different teeth of the comb as they rotate past it, making the different notes. The first music boxes to be invented used a rotating cylinder with protuberances on it.
But over time, a new type of player was produced, which uses discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of music boxes spread far and wide, all around the globe.
Why exactly?
Because the discs are easy to produce and can be interchanged to facilitate the playing of different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now manufacturing music boxes as a result.
It is wonderful to be able to enjoy music, even when no performer is present.
But it is the very success of the invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem.
What do you mean?
As you may imagine, the construction of one firm's music box does not match that of another, and we have no way of knowing in which music box this particular disc was designed to be played. There's no resolution to this problem, I'm afraid. It's quite intractable.
Oh, I see. So that's why.
Naturally, I tested the disc in those few music boxes I have at my disposal. But as you can hear, to no avail. The results were equally unsatisfactory in this one. So, I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made in Europe.
Every single one? That's early for you. Always taking things too far.
But my dear girl, an unsolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution.
But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge volume of music boxes, won't it?
Yes, that is certainly true, in the worst case. I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic room.
What?
Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear again so soon.
Yes, it's only been 2 months since that grisly case.
Ah, something's on fire! Ah, there it is! And Van Zieks is just like, yes.
Mr. McGilded perished within hours of the trial's conclusion. Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows, even now. The omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash. Not a shred of evidence remained.
Oh, he's not dead.
And with the man's death, the truth about the murder in which he was so intimately involved was buried. Even though we successfully established Mr. McGilded's innocence in the trial, the newspapers are still claiming it remains an unsolved case. The murder of the brickmaker, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason.
Oh, it's mine.
Oh,
You remember me?
In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what happened that night. Yes, that's me, all right. Hey, there I am. That's pretty close to what it was, isn't it?
And then Gina. Yes. I must be remembering what my voice was for this man, because I feel like he's coming back this time.
And although Mr. McGilded was found not guilty through my defense, I still don't know if that was the right judgment or not.
It would appear the case is not yet closed.
Time for dinner. Well, it's time I started getting things ready for dinner, I think. Ginny will be here before long.
Thank you, Iris.
Oh, well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie. There's plenty to do.
I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now then, where did I leave it?
Let this be a lesson to you, Mr. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with the pawnbroker.
Yes, you may be right.
Oh, that reminds me of something Mr. Windybank said before. He said that he had a manuscript of Iris's in pawn, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes's latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Those were his words, I believe. So you heard about that, did you? I expect you as incensed as I am. Oh, yes, the idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Windybank's storeroom gathering dust.
My dear madame, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it, more secure than a bank's vault.
And what about your Stradivarius, Hurley? Was that safe and secure?
Well, there may be the occasional mix-up.
Caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far from me right now.
Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that Baskerville story, Hurley? Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it.
What?
What? Now you're staring at me.
Did you steal it?
What's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room?
Susie, what did you just say? You said The Hound of the Baskervilles. But how could you know the full title? Well, that's
because Miss Sasato is such a great fan of all the stories about Mr. Sholmes, of course.
She just looks slowly.
But Bruno, The Hound of the Baskervilles has never been published.
What?
When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me I wasn't allowed to publish it yet.
I don't understand.
That's why he said he'd keep it safe. Until it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see.
So that's why the manuscript is at Windybank's?
And yet, how could Susie know its title? Well, Hurley, what's going on?
What is it, Mr. Sholmes?
It would appear our guest has arrived. She did come here.
Miss Lestrade.
Oh, all three of their voices at once is probably going to be messy, I'm just saying.
That's right, it's me. This was a bad idea. I knew I weren't welcome. I'm going.
No, wait! Miss Lestrade! We've all been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris?
Why are they looking like that?
Oh, yes. Just wait there, Ginny. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Come along, Susie. Right, of course. It's a pleasure to see you here, Miss Lestrade. Please, make yourself at home.
Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you to some Mendelssohn? I won't take no for an answer.
Meddlesome it is, then.
The cat. Wow, it did the exact same motion from before.
Meow.
That evening, Iris prepared us all a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes' violin performance was in no way meddlesome, and Gina, as we came to call her, taught us how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves well into the night.
Is Gina going to be blamed for murder? I bet you that's what it's going to be. I thought it might be Herlock, but no.
That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Iris's cooking was truly divine.
And I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Sholmes' violin even now.
Best of all, I bet I could steal the glasses from his lordship's face the next time we're in court. Naruhodo-san, could I consult with you about something, I wonder?
What's the matter, Sasato-san?
It's about the telegram I received.
Ah, the one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose. The one I totally forgot about after 3 weeks.
I've been summoned.
What? Summoned? What do you mean?
The telegram was from the Lord Chief Justice's office. Lord Strongheart has asked to see me.
The Lord Chief Justice? When?
Tomorrow morning.
What? Then we have to start preparing at once.
Oh, no, that won't be necessary, Naruto-san. I've been summoned alone.
Alone? What on earth for?
I have no idea. I suppose I shall find out tomorrow.
What's all this about? Whatever it is, it's making me feel very uneasy.
Okay.
Oh, who could that be, I wonder?
Good evening, friends.
Iris, hello again.
Okay.
And Gina, too. Yes, Ginny's going to stay with us tonight. She's going to sleep in with me. Isn't that right, Ginny?
Well, yeah.
How lovely. Let me make a pot of tea.
Herlock's just sleeping.
You know, I've learnt so much today. Oh, what in particular? Oh, those things Ginny showed us. Wasn't it wonderful?
You mean all those pickpocketing techniques? We had fun trying them out on each other, didn't we?
I think I've awakened a natural talent. I could even earn a living from it.
You might be getting ahead of yourself a little there. So, what brings you up to our humble quarters at this late hour?
Well, you see, I came to return this.
Oh, wait, what? That's mine!
Oh my, however did you... I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it.
How did she get it off of his entire arm?
Oh, yes, I'd forgotten. Iris literally is a child genius.
So anyway, here, you can have it back. Not that I really understand why you wear it, though.
Thank you.
All right then, good night.
Yes, good night.
So this is your office, is it? What do you think, Ginny?
I think I wouldn't fancy me chances with a lawyer what lives in a place like this.
Yes, me too.
It seems as though Iris here still has something she'd like to talk about.
I suppose she probably wants to talk about the manuscript.
Yes, I suppose she probably does.
Did you steal it? Iris, I suppose you're hoping to talk about the manuscript, are you? Aren't you going to tell me? I'm so sorry. I need a little more time, please. All right, I understand. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward. Oh, no, not at all, Iris. Not at all.
Meanwhile, Gina's like, I feel a little bit out of place here. I don't know what all this is about, really, but...
It's a story you made up, isn't it, Iris? This, mantle script, or whatever you call it? It's not exactly a story I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries.
Daddy's...
That's right. I don't suppose I've mentioned it to you before, Ginny, but... my daddy was Hurley's assistant once. His partner. They solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases together. Is that right, mister?
Apparently so. I was as surprised as you are, though.
And Daddy wrote all the details of every single case down, you see, in his diaries. So I study them and write my stories based on what actually happened.
So, where's your old man now, then?
He He had to go away on urgent business to a faraway land, and he'll be gone a very long time. So, I've never really met him.
Oh, right. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Perhaps we should ask her. Hey, Gina, are your parents dead too?
Well, thanks for that, mate.
Iris, this Hound of the Baskerville story. I take it it's another tale inspired by your father's accounts?
That's right. That is what I just said to Gina, but I thought it was fascinating. But it's different somehow from the other cases, I mean.
Oh, ow.
I don't really know, but it must be special in some way. Because after I'd written it and showed the manuscript to Hurley, he turned as white as a sheet. It was the first time I've ever seen him like that.
Oh, wow, flashback. It pains me to have to say this after you've toiled over it for so long, Iris. But this story must not be published at this time, under any circumstances.
But why not? It's one of my best works.
I'm not at liberty to say. Not now. So please, do not ask me.
All right then, I won't.
But I do solemnly swear that I will explain everything one day, Iris, when the time is right. And that's how the manuscript came to be at Mr. Windybank's, is it?
Yes. Hurley said it had to be somewhere very safe. That really gets my goat, it does. He's treating you like a child. It's mean, that's what it is. Keeping secrets like that. I'm sure Mr.
Sholmes isn't trying to be mean.
Eh?
If he said he wasn't at liberty to talk about it, I'm sure there must be a very good reason.
I think so too. You lot are too trusting for your own good. But you can't pull the wool over my eyes. Sholmes is lying to Iris. I bet me life on it.
What?
Hurley's lying to me?
And then she just goes back to normal. That's funny. Can I, like, move over here and talk to Gina? She's just standing in the corner. I've realized I don't know anything about your parents, Gina.
I ain't got any, have I? Never did have.
I just sprung to life.
Oh.
Look, the East End's full of orphans like me. No one wants nothing to do with us from the moment we're born, not even our mums.
But we all stick together. The older ones look after the little ones and make sure they get by. So, that's why you're a pickpocket?
Nah, diving's me life. I love it. I get a kick out of it every time I lift some pompous idiot's purse.
And that's how we all afford to eat.
I'm like Robin Hood, ain't I? That's how I see it. I like how they capitalize the O for Robin Hood, even though, you know.
Oh, Gina.
I do think about it sometimes. What it'd be like to have parents, I mean. I always thought it'd make everything right. But, having listened to what Iris just said, sounds like having parents ain't always easy either.
Oh. Oh.
I mean, if you know you never had 'em, you don't feel like you're always wanting to meet 'em.
It's true.
I do want to see Daddy so much.
Oh, Iris.
Alright, well. Gina, what do you mean when you said you know Mr. Sholmes is lying to Iris?
Well, he reckons he popped the mantle script or whatever, right? But come on, that's obviously a load of rubbish. Oh my, why would you think that, Gina? It's simple. If that story was really an old Windybank storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could have known about it. Oh. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. But Hurley would never do something like that. I'm sure of it. Ha! Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, the lot of them. You just ain't realised it yet.
You're hurting the child, Gina. Come on.
I'm telling you, that mantle script ain't at Windybanks. You'd soon see if you had the look. Even if you think you can trust him, I don't. That Sholmes is a liar, like the rest of them. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes.
Say.
Oh, but I don't mean I think he sold it. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Yeah, he might have hidden it somewhere. I wonder where that could be.
Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris. Cool. Good talk, guys.
Oh my goodness, look at the time. Come along, Ginny. We should get back downstairs.
Yeah, alright.
And please, don't mention any of this to Hurley, will you?
No, of course not. Good night then, Iris. Good night, Gina.
You must let me make breakfast for you tomorrow morning. I insist. Oh, oh, yes, please. I can't wait, Susie. Good night, then.
Iris. Sure is easy to forget, isn't it? Sometimes she speaks just like an adult, but deep down, she's still just a child. I wanted to say kid so badly there.
Well, I think it's time I turned in for the night too, Naruhodo-san.
Alright. Dr. John H. Wilson, Iris's father, but also the name of the murdered visiting professor at Yume University. It can't be a mere coincidence. There's something deeper going on. A well-timed yawn. And then I died. Okay, it's not Susato, because it's Mr.
Mr. Naruhodo! Mr. Naruhodo!
It has to be Gina, right? That voice. That's Mr. Oh, God damn it. Mr. Naruhodo. I think you've... What's going on? It's the middle of the night. It's Miss Lestrade. She's gone. Gina? She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris's room, but her bed is empty. Well, she's an independent young woman. She probably decided to go home, no? I think not. From speaking to her before she retired, I received the distinct impression she was looking forward to breakfasting with Mrs. Otto. Mrs. Otto. No, I don't believe the girl has gone home, but I've been waiting for over an hour now. Over an hour? Oh. There we go. If you'll indulge me, look out the window, my dear fellow. Alright. What's this about? Wow, our attic window sure does have a great street view. Huh? Wait a minute. Why is there a light on at this time of night? That's Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery, of course. Mr. Windybank's? Oh, no.
It's simple. If that story was really an old Windy Bank storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you.
Could Gina have gone? It seems you have some knowledge of our situation, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry? No, not really.
Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once, I guess.
At once!
Okay.
Mrs. Sato?
Did Mr. Windybank get shot? I just knew it. Just somehow. Maybe because he was pointing a gun at himself all the time.
The door to Windybank's. It's open.
And the lamp is burning.
It must be Gina, mustn't it?
Let us hope it's nothing more sinister.
What?
Come, there's not a moment to lose. Clearly something's afoot inside.
Oh my god, it's a foot!
I feel like we're about to have a Danganronpa body discovery announcement. Anyway.
There's no one here.
Oh yes, there is.
Ah!
Oh, well, that was well timed.
Ah! Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes!
Oh no.
What the? Has Sholmes been shot?
Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo.
But...
After them, go!
Right.
He's got a bulletproof vest on or something. You know he does.
Blast! I've lost them. Hello, what have we have here?
Oh, okay, it's a Bobby.
Alarm just raised from this pawnbroker, sir. Would you know something about that? Officer, come with me! It's my friend, Mr. Sholmes. He's been shot. Shot? With the policeman close behind me, I ran back to Windybank's.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine, my friend. Or, perhaps I'm not, actually. Oh, I thought he was bleeding. Is he even bleeding?
In the storeroom. Hurry!
Where'd the policeman go? Yep, he's toast. Alright, well.
It's Gina.
Oh, boy. Well, I suppose I'll have to leave you there. How did I know that Gina was going to be the person on trial? It just makes sense, doesn't it? I like this, actually. This is my favorite one so far. It's actually very interesting because... Wait, what the heck? Why is this one chapter 3? Oh, no, this is just third. It's still episode 5. Okay. It's interesting because we got to see, like, the scene of the crime and the victim before the case happened, which does make it feel a little closer to Danganronpa. But that's very unusual for Ace Attorney. I mean, like, the only times that happened before is, like, Bridge to the Turnabout, right? Where you, like, see the victim before they die. Is there any other case where that happens? Well, I guess you could count chapter 2 of the first game, but I don't know if I'd really count that. I guess a little bit in chapter 2 of the second game, too. But you don't get to see the scene of the crime in any of those cases. It's only the victim that you sort of get like 3 lines of dialogue from before they die. Windybank was certainly more developed.
I don't know. It's interesting. I'm interested to see where it goes, and I hope you are too. So, if you made it this far in the video, make sure to like, subscribe if you're not, you know, all that jazz. And you can leave a comment saying, Mr. Rippybank. Riptybank? I'm sure you can figure it out. Rippybank. Oh, okay. Anyway, thanks a lot. Bye-bye!